let's jump straight into the AMA. Shouts out to, again, the ladies of the faucet, always holding it down, putting in the work. This is from Lady Maya. I thought it was Lady Mania. Maybe that's her Telegram name. But either way, looking at these notes, so I'm just going to go over a couple highlights. I will be breaking down the AMA in more detail because he did drop some nuggets that I want to cover in a more deep dive, but I just want to give you guys the highlight on this. So basically everything in this AMA was questions that were submitted. He said there was over 100 questions, and then he answered about 8 or so. He said there was about 20 that were repeated over and over and over again in different ways. So there was a top 20, and then he got to about 8 of them. So first thing up was, what are the plans to get drip out of the wallets and out of circulation? So the main thing he said is that there's not a lot in regards to the total supply that a single person holds. He said 0.7%. It's close to that. It's 0.8%. We had that one whale that had about 52,000, so that would have been like 1 point some odd percent. But what he's saying from a perspective of diversity is that most of the people, the drip is spread out evenly amongst all the bag holders, basically. So there's no cause for alarm in that. Yes, we would love to see drip in the faucet or locked up somewhere so that when we have a price pump, it doesn't get sold off. But this wasn't something he is particularly stressed about, so to speak. He did also mention for his ability to remove this or have actually address this question would be that he's adding utility and making products that have people earn yield versus selling. He didn't go into detail on those products because he said he doesn't want people kind of stealing the ideas, but these are things that he's talked about multiple times. So stuff as borrow and lending, and he comes up later with some stuff about the Animal Farm staking pairing in the partnership vaults. All right, on to the next one. So the next question was, do you have plan to add incentives to the reservoir, and is it possible to automate the way drip goes into the reservoir from the faucet? So this question was, I guess, what people saying, is there a way if they can claim, can they have a portion of that go automatically to the reservoir when they claim? And he said that's not possible, and he doesn't want to adjust or change the underlying mechanics of the faucet or the reservoir or any of the drip contracts. So he said, when I launched drip, I made a promise that I would not change the core mechanics of drip or reservoir. So the goal is to add utility on top of that. He said we will add additional layers on top of the faucet and res, but the core mechanics will not change. What is possible is the mechanic that allows people to claim their drip from the faucet tax-free if they're putting that drip into the farm. This is something I believe we can do. It will be significant work, but we can do it. And he also mentioned he wants to do it. So what would happen with this is he said that you would claim this, but you would have to add BUSD to the contract. So wherever you claim it to, or however that works, you'll be adding BUSD to the contract, and then that can get then staked in the drip farm, and you'll still have the sell tax that you normally would have, but you skip the claim tax. So I guess for him, that's a positive point. I still would like to see drip staying in the faucet, but people who have max wallets and things of that nature and want to migrate to the farm, I guess making it easier for them to do so is something that adds sustainability to drip in the long term. So I do think that would be something positive to see. This is also good news. He said, just interviewed a bunch of devs looking to add them to the team. Just interviewed a team of 4 devs. It was really good. The devs we hire will join the existing devs, and they will build the new Drip UI with the new Fiat on-ramp API integration. So to break this down, basically he's got the Animal Farm dev team, and then now he's looking at adding a specific Drip dev team. So it sounds like he wants to put them on the Drip UI. So we heard previously that Drip UI was fully done, but I think that got scrapped and redone when we got the new Animal Farm UI, and those devs are still working on the Animal Farm UI updates. So long story short, he did kind of hint at potentially 3 to 4 weeks from now that this would be live for us, but he said don't hold him to that, because basically he's saying what he wants to do is make sure that the UI is done with the Fiat on-ramp and off-ramp integration. So that is also good news, because he mentioned with the on-ramp, he wants to add a more user-friendly experience to Drip by having an ability to access the Chrome store and download MetaMask, a prompt that auto imports BSC network to MetaMask. So someone who knows nothing about drip and how to get onboarded can basically go to this website. They'll be able to click a button, let's pull this up. Click up here somewhere and it'll say add to MetaMask, and it'll be the Chrome extension, taking them straight to the Chrome store and get MetaMask installed. And then once that's done, they got to go through those steps, of course, with the C phrase, but they'll be able to also import or add BSC network to their wallet. And then with the fiat on-ramp, they will be able to directly add those tokens to their new created drip wallet. So that is bullish, definitely looking to see that. And he said he wants to have all that done at the same time. So when he launches the UI, all that will be there. And he said that the fiat on-ramp takes about 3 weeks. They just got the green light, or he got the green light for all the questions that he had. So they will move forward with it by Monday, giving them the go ahead. And then that's like a 3-week integration. So he wants to have the UI done by that 3-week time frame. So we will see about that. That would be nice to have that done before the end of the year. We got about 5 weeks left in the year. So fingers crossed, because that would be some positive momentum for drip. It's not going to bring people in all of a sudden and like pump the price, but for us that are kind of looking to see eyes put back on drip and kind of the focus, I think that would kind of give us a little warm fuzzy, because we would see stuff being developed for drip. So community sentiment would be positive in my opinion. He also mentioned changing the minimum deposit. So if you were from the old school, this used to say 10 drip right here, a minimum of 10 drip required for deposits. And when we got to all-time highs, I think around 50 to 60 bucks is when we changed it to 1 drip. So it'd be easier for people to get in. And then it just hasn't changed since then. So I think this would be a really smart move to put this back with drip under $5. I think making people, put up like 50 bucks or so as a minimum is a great starting point, because that also ensures people are buying drip from the native DEX, which can support the price. So most people are still already coming in with, 50 to 100 drip. They're not just buying $1 and putting it in the faucet. So it's already what people are doing. You'd just be changing that number to match basically people's investing strategy right now. So I think that would be positive. Let's see, this was important. I've tried to beat this into people's heads on my channel, and I don't think people still don't understand it. But drip has to have liquidity on PancakeSwap. That's where all the analytic platforms are pulling the data from. That's where people get exposure to drip, and we need to be paired with stablecoin for that and to buffer us from the market. So remember, the price of drip, the sold price, is created here. It's only shown by this contract balance and the supply. So if you multiply this by the current price of BNB, then divide that by the supply, you get the price of drip. When you go to PancakeSwap, the only reason PancakeSwap shows a price is because in the initial rollout, actually a couple months after this was made, Forex took some of the supply of drip and put it over on PancakeSwap and paired it with BUSD. That is why it reflects what we have over here. And by reflect, I mean whatever this price is, PancakeSwap is usually going to be within 10 to 12%. We'll call it 6 to 12%, depending, because that's how the price is determined on PancakeSwap. Remember, BUSD is just a stable coin, so it's $1. And drip without this pool here would have no value, because the value is determined here. So those two work independently and codependently of one another. And that's how we actually determine the price of drip. So that's why we need this to be reduced, which will cause the price to increase here. And then that makes it much more attractive to people to buy from PancakeSwap, which shows on the analytics, hey, drip is pumping, drip has gone up by 12%, 15%, because people will jump over there and find an opportunity to arbitrage and buy it cheaper. So if this pumped up to $5 because people were buying from here, then that means they would go over to PancakeSwap, buy it for the cheaper price, and come back over here and sell it and get that arbitrage opportunity, even with the taxes. And then eventually the pools flatten out. So you guys really need to pay attention to understand that. People talking about, the price of pump because of XYZ, and if we lock this up and lock that up, do not understand this simple mathematics. Like you can't get around it. Do the math yourself. You'll see you get that exact number that we're sitting at right here.
just a quick message. Please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss another video. This helps bring brand awareness to the channel as well as all Forex Shark related projects. Thank you.
Next up, they're going to put dev fees on the new drip UI or the new drip layer 2 or whatever you want to call it, so they can use that for marketing and for PR. So remember, there is no dev fees or anything currently on drip. So any sort of marketing they do, they don't have any money for it. And it seems as though Forex is keeping things completely separate. So he's not using the marketing budget for Animal Farm for drip. So I'm guessing this will have to be implemented with the new developments, and it will come from the new drip layer 2, res layer 2. This is the last part I wanted to get into. So he said somebody asked a question about a pool on Animal Farm like pigs that allows people to stake drip to earn a share of fees and taxes associated with Animal Farm. And basically, he said this is not going to happen because they don't want to weigh down the game theory of Animal Farm. And he alluded to a statement from Ray that said, for those, here it is here, please, when you guys think about things for drip, please stop thinking about things that take value away from pigs, dogs, Animal Farm. Start your ideas from the place of where can we put incentives and that force or incentivize the community and new investors to bring new capital into drip. So, and Forex has taken a strong arm stand on keeping these ecosystems completely independent due to the gatekeeping, due to the new mechanics and things he's learned, the investing and all this stuff. So he doesn't want to, I guess, bloody his hands with adding that to the Animal Farm. So any kind of utility needs to be literally independent. I feel that's a double-edged sword because they speak about not taking away from Animal Farm, but I feel like Animal Farm has taken away from drip in the short term, and that's not being addressed. That's just my personal opinion on it. I know long term this will be beneficial. I showed that to you guys in my video, but these types of statements is like, don't take away from the Animal Farm, when literally for the last 9 months, because the focus was on Animal Farm, it took away from drip. And it's like we forgot about that when they make these kind of statements. But that's just my personal perception and what I feel right now. However, what he said they can do is add a drip Animal Farm partnership vault where you compare drip with the Animal Farm pigs token or the Animal Farm dogs token, and you can earn BNB through the sale of scratchies. So this would be used with the scratchy model, so that the rewards are coming from the sale of the scratchy tickets, and therefore it's not adding any sell pressure to the dogs, pigs, or drip. So that would be interesting to see. What else we got? This one I'm going to go into in more detail in another video, but he said, I have no interest in creating new tokens. The likelihood of you seeing a new token for me is very low. There are a couple exceptions that I'm considering doing just because they would offer immense benefit and value to the ecosystem. They would not be speculative. People can read between the lines there. This was a direct quote from Forex, and a lot of us, as Ladies of Faucet put here, a stable coin, perhaps. I believe that is what he was alluding to. He did mention this with Trunk. If he was going to do a stable coin, he'd do it differently and make it over collateralized. And I believe this would definitely tie into the borrow and lending. I'm going to do an entire video on this to try to speculate how this is done. Shouts out to Hannah from our group. She's in the Ladies of the Faucet. She mentioned something around how Avarice was doing their borrow and lending. I'm not familiar with them, but I think all of this ties together in the future somehow. And it's going to be fun to kind of dig into that and see. All right, that is it for this video. Going to be wrapping it up there, but like I said, there'll be some future videos breaking down a couple more key points that he mentioned in here to go in more detail. And other than that, I got nothing. So you guys know the drill. If it provided value, smash that HBO special, help a brother out, like and subscribe, leave a comment down below, lift daily, and achieve your impossible. See you.